Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, let me begin by expressing my gratitude to our host here in Kenya and congratulate you, Mr. President, on your leadership of this UNEA Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 70 years, IUCN has delivered nature conservation for sustainable development through an open and innovative culture, a culture that fosters participation from all, including also women, youth, and indigenous peoples. Much progress has been made. However, today's challenge of biodiversity loss, climate change, marine plastics requires today's solid solutions. New ideas, tools, business models are vital to protect the environment on which we depend on our food, our health, and even our identity. The planet is in the midst of a sixth mass extinction for coral reef, for rainforests, to insects and microbes. Much of our web of life is disappearing at a rate not seen millions of years. We need to provide a rally point to engage all the stakeholders, including public and private, and communicate the urgency of collective action, which my organization, IUCN, provides a unique platform for that. Much like what the 1.5-degree goal did for climate change, we need an apex target, a target to support post-2020 global biodiversity framework and sustainable development goal. IUCN is a deeply engaged endeavor and welcomes all your collaboration. IUCN is also working with government and business to reduce more than 10 million tons of plastics that enter into ocean each year. To address this, we are developing jointly with the UNEP a plastic leakage hotspot calculator. This will provide data on how plastics make their way into waterways, allowing for more informed decisions around the production, consumption, and disposal. We have heard many statements this week expressing the will to change course. However, these statements are only as good as our resolve to put them into practice. IUCN is committed to do this part. Dear fellow colleagues, the time is now 2020 will be a watershed for environment, which 15th Biodiversity COP takes place in China and the Paris Agreement going into effect. Dear fellow colleagues, as President Macron mentioned yesterday, 2020 will also see the next IUCN World Conservation Congress, which will take place in Marseille, France, and that as a voice of nature IUCN since 1948 and the only permanent observer status in UN General Assembly, this will be an extraordinary opportunity to build on the momentum here in Nairobi so that jointly we together to shape world agenda for the nature conservation. And we are moving into a new decade to change the world for the better. We hope to see you all in June 2020, Marseille, France. Thank you.